Welcome to the Nerd Party.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And this is City Alpha 3.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to City Alpha 3, a Star Trek podcast here on the Nerd Party Network. I am your host, Daniel Prue, and joining me, as always, are my good buddies, Darren and Philip. Now, Darren, I know we just hit the ending of another Star Wars show, right? How did that go?
We did. Now, I don't think we have anything on deck for a while, so it's going to be another quiet time. But yes, Ahsoka wrapped up. I'm just most impressed in that Huyong puppet. It looks amazing. Like, it was obviously CG for some parts where he's walking down the steps and things like that. But the majority of it was a full puppet, kind of with just like an upper torso and things like that. A lot of good expression out of a character that doesn't have a mouth that moves, but very expressive eyes and all of that.
Sorry, I don't do names. Is that the Jedi?
Sorry.
Is that the Jedi droid?
Yes, this is the Jedi droid. Yes.
Guy, can I just say, and I get it, and it's fine that it happens because it's happened a million times in the world, but it's just bizarre to hear the Doctor's voice coming out of a Star Wars character.
Right. Well, he did voice it in the show. He voiced it in the Clone Wars and Rebels, so it's kind of a continuation of him. So for most of us, we're like, oh yeah, that's his voice. That's what it should say. But I get it. It is played by David Tennant. So
I didn't know that. Fun. Yeah. Fun. Also, they got him back, no problem, huh?
It'd be different almost if it was like, okay, well, he used to be a doctor. He plays different roles. He's currently now the Doctor. And so it's like,
true.
Oh,
yeah. Again, I think it's because he had done it for the few episodes we see this character in the animated form. So it's not like he has to perform the motion capture or anything like that. Yeah, he's getting money. He's like, I'm back, baby. I got to rebuild that nest egg from the Who days.
And now he is firmly into Disney because obviously this, and now in America, starting with the new Doctor Who series, will be distributed on Disney Plus. So he is now.
Oh, I didn't know that. I've canceled my Disney Plus, so I don't care.
I used my buddy's account, but I think they're going to be cutting down on that. I think I saw an article about that, so that stinks. Speaking of, Philip, when does that special come out?
November something. It's November. Because this will be the 60th
I'm looking forward
anniversary.
Remember, they write their dates weird, so, you know.
I'll get it wrong, yeah. I'm going to watch it. It'll be the first two I've watched since the Robin Hood episode episode 3 of
the 12th
Peter
Doctor?
Capaldi.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Yeah, that's the last time I watched the show.
It's been a while. Though not that many series because, they only do like one every 3 years. But, of course, it'll be, oh, God, I should know this, 3 or 4 episodes. I can't remember which one. 3 or 4.
Oh, for the David Tennant stuff?
Yeah.
I also saw an ad for it, and it seemed to imply that the villain character that Neil Patrick Harris is playing is a return villain. Is that true?
Yes. I mean, I don't know if it's like in ink, but we all believe he is the Celestial Toymaker, which was the first Doctor's villain. So this is going back.
Ooh.
Wow, interesting. Okay. Cool.
Old
cool. So we got
look at that show tapping into its deep lore.
Man. So we got some Star Wars and some Doctor Who, but that is not what we're going to be talking about this week. I had a really good, interesting topic planned for a good number of times. So let's just briefly talk about the episode of Lower Decks that we just saw, which was a weird name, but I think it was a reference to something. Do you guys remember the episode title?
I don't remember.
It is... Oh, actually, before we even talk about that, did you guys watch the short trek, the very short trek that was released this week?
I did. It's a good return to form. It actually, I've heard many people say this kind of should have been the first very short trek because it kind of set the stage. But yeah, this one was really good. Actually, I think have 2 come out since we had the one. I don't remember if we talked about the one with the holodeck ending, the ending within the ending within the ending within the ending.
Yeah, I think we briefly mentioned it last week. I thought we did.
That one was also pretty good.
Yeah.
And then this one with the jam session was just pure 70s bliss. Is so funny. I don't know how Jonathan Frakes recorded those lines with a straight face. I'm probably sure he didn't.
or doing his singing part, man. I mean,
yeah.
It's so great. So I love the first two. We talked a little bit about. I was not a huge fan of these two. Great. These two were great. I really enjoyed the holodeck one and the singing one. I thought were really.
I mean, the more you lean into TAS, like that's what you got to do. The more you lean into that, it's great. And again, I know we barely spoke on it, but like the other one with the holodeck within the holodeck. Like, did we ever think we were going to see Prodigy characters again in Star Trek? It's a little weird. It's like, it's like they have redacted bars over them. We're not allowed to legally show you this character. Tax write-off. Who knows?
Technically,
imagine
still
somebody
not
just
on
going
Paramount
through on
Plus.
YouTube.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Like somebody
Right.
going through on YouTube and like watching for the first time, like, oh wow, this looks like a cool show.
Yeah.
Where would one be able to watch this? Maybe on the home of Star Trek, as it likes to call itself. No, unfortunately not. No. Anyways, I just wanted to briefly touch on that. But yeah, so the episode this week, which I forgot I was looking up. Give me one
How much for just the
second.
planet? No, I'm kidding. That's a Star Trek novel.
Parth Ferengi's Heart Place. Not sure what that means. So fun.
Star Trek always has very clear and understandable titles. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Very fun, interesting situation I got myself into that not many people probably would do. But as the listeners might know and remember, I'm going through a Deep Space Nine rewatch with my wife, who's watching it for the first time. We are now in the beginning of season 7, so right towards the end here. But she likes to watch Lower Decks because she thinks it's funny. And this episode spoiled Grand Nagus Rom.
It,
For my wife.
a keystone of the season 7. I mean, why even watch it at this point? I mean, it's all ruined. No, that's a good point, though. To be fair, she has had many years to watch DS9.
That's true.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
She wasn't too upset about it, but she's like, oh, it's Rom and Leeta. And I'm like, yep, they are sure there.
Yeah, it's like, I guess we know what happens to those two.
So what did you guys think about the Ferengi-centered episode of Lower Decks? Oh, by the way, we got another scene of that mysterious ship blowing up another ship.
Yeah.
I warned you. I said we're going to see it all the time. Did I tell you
what my guess was of what was happening? So I don't think they're killing anybody. Because all we get is the white light and then there's like debris. So we never actually see anyone die. And they've dropped a lot of words about menageries in this season. I'm thinking it's a kind of like in Gambit where the phaser wasn't a phaser, it was a transporter, and it's like collecting them for a menagerie, and then at the end the Cerrito is going to break them out. Like, I think that's what's happening. I think because they're gathering all different species, I think that's what's happening.
I've noticed, and I don't know if this is like coincidence or like on purpose, or if I should read anything into it, but every little mini-sode, before the ship blows up the other ship, every ship we've seen, which tells like a little, 1 minute story, every time, and I didn't think about this, but quote me if I'm wrong, it's about characters plotting against the captain. Every single time. Klingons, they're like, oh, let's go see what he's up to. I'll go, but we look forward to killing him. Ferengi, I've got something in store for him.
I didn't notice
Romulans,
that.
I've got a plot. Like, every time. They're plotting against the captain. I don't know if it's like a joke.
Which is either a factor of it, or if it, like you said, is the joke of like, they just happen to all, like, we're all not that different. We're all, plotting against our captains. Maybe it comes back full around, and when they're trying to jailbreak out of the menagerie, they're like, oh, but we're so different. It's like, what were you doing before you got zapped? Well, I was plotting against my captain. Funny, I was plotting against my so were we. I mean, it's a little on the nose, but we'll see.
I guess we will see. But I will say, getting a little tired of these scenes because they are all the same. And they're
in and over, though. They do not take any extra time than they actually need to to tell it. Like but I get what you're saying, Daniel. It's
We're just not
flavor.
we're
getting zero payoff.
Yeah,
it's
we're
like
not getting any new information. Like if each time we gleaned a little something about the situation, that'd be fine. But it's like it's a
Philip noticed something that was going on. So, yeah,
that's fair.
But Daniel, this is 1 or 2 minutes of a mystery that doesn't pay off versus an entire season of a certain series. So
I will never. I will not compare it to Discovery. It's fine,
or even
totally
Picard,
fine,
depending upon which season.
or
we're
Picard.
talking about.
Yep. That's fine. Yeah, the rest of the episode deals with Mariner and her friend. That's the same Ferengi from like season 1, right? I think,
yes.
or very early
season
on.
1, season 2. I can't remember.
Yeah.
like when they were doing Starfleet recruitment day, and he like walked by, and she was using him to trick somebody. I think it's the same
Boimler.
one. Yeah.
So she is. It's a really interesting thing for Mariner because I remember complaining a little bit about her character development, but right now, like, she's like self-sabotaging and like and she's like saying like I have all the support in the world, which is true because the Cerritos crew is like they're all bang up people, like really helpful. And so she's I guess starting to realize that. I'm wondering where that's going to go, but I hope it goes somewhere interesting. I'm like, okay, I'm down for that. I can see that.
Yeah, it's not this again. It's not a complaint. I always want to make sure I'm not complaining. It's just odd in that I'm curious to see where it goes because this is about like the 4th episode we've done this. And it's also coupled with the XO being her mentor or being super supportive of her, or like. But we've seen that like 4 episodes in a row, so it's a little repetitious at this point. But if it's going somewhere, but I'm curious where it's going because it's like we're paying a lot of attention to this for some reason.
Yeah.
It's hard to say because part of it feels like they're easing into this new Lieutenant Mariner kind of thing, like because we've all talked several times about she's always self-sabotaging. We had a whole nother episode in this season of her confronting Ransom and being like and it's like we felt like we were kind of past that, but this is kind of that last lingering old Mariner becoming new Mariner, and maybe that's what they need to do. But I think we're all agreed, like if we still see this stuff in season 5, we're kind of be done with that aspect. Like, come on.
Yeah. You know what else we didn't see a culmination? Almost saw a culmination of was Rutherford and Tendi, who had to pretend like they were a couple.
This B story was wild, guys. This was insane.
2 things. One, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, but anyone who's been to Star Trek Las Vegas, it doesn't exist anymore, instantly noticed it. And I mean, like, if you've been there, I didn't need to Mike telling me tweeting later. This is you like, oh my god, that's Star Trek Vegas, like exactly what it looks like. Because there's the ride which has the Enterprise on the top, which they did, but they coupled it with Quark Spar, which is in the bottom part. And you think like, oh, Quark Spar looks like Quark Spar. It's like, no, I can instantly recognize it as the Vegas Quark Spar.
Right.
To me, that was
Makes
very
sense. That's what they would do. Yeah.
But the second thing is, we will not go too deep into this. Quickly move on. I do not like this cartoon making me picture Tendi that way with that one line. I was like, I don't need to be picturing characters, Nick. Thank you.
They so it's interesting, like because I like both those characters a lot, and they're cute together, and like will they, won't they is just like not a thing that I care about. So I just like why not just do it at this point?
Because they've established enough shots
Tendi
of them in other episodes that or at least she's open to it at least.
Yeah.
And Rutherford too. He at least in this episode, and maybe that was the point of this B plot. It was for us to see more of Rutherford, because Rutherford has always been like, okie dokie, we're friends. Like it's been very rare that we've seen him kind of do a double take on moments of like, oh, this could be like a little bit in the cave, and stuff like that. Or maybe there was a moment.
They literally reset him.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
That's right.
I forgot about that with his implant and stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. So that was early on where he was having feelings.
He's
and
lost
then
2 years, basically.
Oh man, you're right. Okay, so yeah, so it's. I mean, I'm fine with them becoming a couple.
Yeah.
And this was also fun because it was obviously like going to the nth degree. See what I did there.
Right.
But like it's way over the top, and they're just I just keep cracking up of the when they're about to tell him, and then the other table was like, "Wait, you're not actually in a relation, and you were stealing from us using our special romantic week. Take them away to like Repente or something like that." It's like, oh my gosh! And it's all shenanigans. It's such a shenanigans episode.
In that moment, I love the fact when they call security that the Ferengi are in security uniforms. I'm like, because it took me out of it for a second. I'm like, wait a minute, why are they wearing? Oh, it's because they're at this resort. They're at Star Trek Vegas. I loved that detail. I thought that was so funny.
And I loved also. I mean, I know we'll get around to it, but like Boimler's little side quest of just watching TV was so funny. I did see recently, I didn't catch it at the time, but there are things in the room, like there's a mountain with stars in the background and the TV being that shape. It's like, it's the CBS and Paramount logo. I'm like, oh, that's a nice little nod. Yeah, it's so funny.
Well, because I think
they put commercials in the shows?
Yes.
That's genius.
Yeah, I know. It's like, what's happening right now? Why are they talking about this product? It says, yeah, anytime you have a fish out of water Starfleet person who like is experiencing basically Earth culture of the past, it's really funny.
I just love the and not that it's like easy commentary, but I think within universe commentary, the Ferengi fantasy, because we think we know Ferengi, but like, yeah, the tough two Ferengi landlord cops, like just every TV show is just ridiculous.
Right.
They're all in
reality
love with each
TV,
other.
Yeah.
We've seen Ferengi in real life. I mean, none of this is real Ferengi, but it's just funny that this is the Ferengi culture, TV culture, just like just like us, of course.
And the war memorial to the lost prophet during the Dominion War, which is it's not the people that died; it's all the money that was lost. It's like, what?
I love that, and to me that is a perfect, because Lower Decks has sometimes gone a little too far and sometimes not enough, but this is a perfect line because I forget, like, they're like, isn't this serious and people die? But then like they worked it perfectly. It is both, yes,
right.
So lots of Ferengi shenanigans happened in this episode. The A plot, of course, which we haven't touched on, we'll get into now, is apparently the Ferengi Alliance has requested membership into the Federation. Now that's our main topic, but let's just talk real quickly about what happens in the episode. And that is, of course, Rom and Leeta come on board, and they have their negotiation shenanigans with Captain Freeman, who's there, but it's really the
Admiral.
He's not a bad admiral.
No, he's a dumb-merle.
He's a dumb-merle. Naive-merle. I don't know what we want to call him. He's a terrible
We've seen him before, though. Like, he's the other admiral that's not the Texas class and not the
He's not
husband.
the Centaur's Vulcan admiral.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But yeah, we've seen him. I mean, did you guys see like the fake out coming? I kind of did. It took a moment to catch me, where Ron and Leeta were like the whole like, oh, you get our culture, you get our our people. It was an interesting take. This whole
I just don't think it paid off perfectly. Like it did.
Not perfectly.
I get what they're going for. It just, I don't know, man. Like
in a way, the A plot wasn't really the A plot. Like it wasn't really the Star Trek-y, like lower decky plot. It was the framing device to get them on Ferenginar.
Yeah.
Because I think the joke, I'm hand quoting, the joke that Captain Freeman keeps saying, this is done. The animal's like, no, I know how to do this. Captain, no, I know how to do this. Captain, no, like it went on almost too long without there being a different direction for the joke. Like it would have been funny if like the captain got to take over. And then she made some mistake, and then like that's a different direction. But then like,
right, kind of like we saw when she's repairing that computer, and she's like on top of it, and then she's not, and then her crew has to save her. That wasn't the way this broke out, but
yeah. I did like the little bit. Sorry, I just wanted to say I did like the little bit where the way that they got the Ferengi was that they had to recruit Kronos into the Federation, which is pretty silly. But also, then it made me think, like, when you join the Federation, is this like an MLM?
Wait, was
like,
it the Kronos or was it the? Oh, sorry. I forgot that's the name of the planet. I was like, was it the Klingons? Who are the Kronos? I'm like, oh, that's right.
I don't know.
No, it's because he didn't say Quonos.
like,
he said Kronos.
It's a very Picard move, because it totally reminded me
It's the same thing, yeah.
when Picard legaled the what are they called?
Shellyak?
Shellyak, yes.
Shellyak.
And he's like, I choose the Grisella to like arbitrate our agreement. Like, it's very much, and that's what makes it a good episode overall, because it is Star Trek. Like, these legal loophole episodes crop up all the time.
Yeah, I don't feel like they would have signed for something without reading it. Like, the whole episode is basically telling us the Ferengi are not going to sign a contract without knowing, like, everything about it.
Right.
So the fact that he just sort of was like, okay, and then he's like, let's just tear it up anyways. And it's like, wait a minute, that's not how that works. You can't just tear it and sign, buddy.
Contract is a contract. Isn't that a rule of acquisition?
I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
So, anyways, I did. Real quick, just seeing Rom and Leeta was great. It's so funny because, like, I'm pretty sure it's the same actors. They got Max back, and obviously, but you can tell he doesn't have teeth in, so his Rom sounds different. Like, it's just clear.
Oh, you're right.
Which is, I'm like, this is fine.
That's a good point.
But
yeah, it was interesting. Like, it's weird because it doesn't make sense with it being animated, but it feels like they use them less because they're older. You know what I mean? Like, it's like if you have a guest star on that, like, it's like when McCoy shows up, in Encounter at Farpoint. Like, we barely see him. Like, he's not really even in the episode. But, like, it's different with Quark, though. Like, whenever we get a Quark episode, he is, like, the main part of the episode. I don't know. It was a vibe. It was a vibe I was getting. But no, I liked them. I think, do they even mention Nog at all? Name drop?
No reason
I don't think so. No. I don't know how. What would they say?
Just about him. Well, like, we like Starfleet. He,
Oh yeah,
our son tells us good things about you. Like, or something.
Lieutenant
like
Commander Nog or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What he would
Captain Nog.
Not yet. A little early for that.
That's true. Fastest promoted Ferengi in Starfleet. He's the only Ferengi promoted in Starfleet.
So yeah, I wanted to talk about Ferengi culture, and first of all, getting the Ferengi. I want to talk about the idea that Ferengi could come into the Federation. Now, I feel like they couldn't, but the episode gets away with it by basically saying that
step one.
Rom instituted a bunch of changes, is what they said. So now they're eligible.
But I mean, okay, he did, but how could the Federation not be like, so when you're eventually not Nagus anymore, why do we not believe that everything would just totally revert back to the way it was? But yeah. It's kind of like a different planet with slavery wanting to join the Federation. They're like, yeah, like, you still have slavery. That's kind of a key part of the Federation. You can't do that. So, I mean, it's not that exact issue, but it's very, I get the root of your question, Daniel, is like, is Ferengi culture compatible with the Federation? Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, how quickly have the ROM reforms gone? Because, I mean, like, in reality, and I mean, I know it's not reality, but even in a sci-fi, fiction, like, it would have been like, and tomorrow we're all liberal Democrat. Like, no, it was. I mean, right. Like, do women have full rights? I mean, I could be like,
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Like, I'm sure they can wear clothes now. But like, are they 100% allowed to engage in commerce, or is it just like, well, we let them do X and Y?
And even if they are allowed to do business, again, that's That's great that they can wear clothes and conduct business. That does not mean it's equality, you know. And we see in this episode that their society is still greed obsessed, like still obsessed with money, and that's it. So I feel like that is already incompatible with like they don't have like a form of.
I feel like it's hard to answer, not because we don't know a lot about Ferengi culture, because we don't know a lot about other cultures. Like, I don't know how Betazoid culture is set up. If they're a matriarchy, maybe, I don't know. They could have something like that, or like, Benzites, or like we never learn about other cultures to that degree. Unless they're like villain cultures like Klingons or Romulans. All the cultures that aren't in the Federation, we learn more about. Everything in the Federation is this kind of monolithic Federation, but, Vulcan, I guess, would be maybe the only other culture we know a bit about. But
do we know anything about Vulcan? I guess Enterprise would be the only one that would have gone into it, but Vulcan, like, government?
They have a council, they have the Science Council, too.
The council.
Lots of councils.
Have we ever met the president of Vulcan?
Well, we have Discovery tells us the future, but that obviously doesn't answer your question.
I was thinking more of the 09 movies actually show us a little bit. Like, when he shows up, like, with the elders in the cave, like, I feel like that's the government, and he's like, hey, planet's gonna blow up, Tote's not lying. They're like, yes sir, and they all beam out. I mean, I'm paraphrasing heavily, but it's true. I don't know if we've seen a Vulcan Senate or whatever it's supposed to be.
In fairness, you're right. We don't go into, and we also don't even know the hard rules for entering Federation membership. Right. This is all stuff that is, we suppose.
What's the bare minimum? Like, because I mean,
one moon. You got to have a moon. I don't know why. It's just in the bylaws. So,
because I assume it's not heavy. Like, it's just sort of like you have to pass this bare minimum of like no slavery,
warp capable, check.
And
one government for your planet. Check.
Like, unified planet, I think, is one of the things.
I think it is. It is. That's why I said. Yeah. Well, Bajor is kind of the only other one that we've seen kind of go through this process, but they never really, like, I get it. It's a TV show. Like,
theocracy allowed. Apparently.
It's like, why put, you don't want to put things on a list, because once you put them on a list, then they're rules now, so they keep it all ambiguous. But so you have to be a unified government of some sort, but a theocracy is available. Yeah. Well, and not a matrix. Gosh, what's it with a king? Why am I blanking?
Monarchy.
Monarchy. Because in Lower Decks we've seen Billups. That planet is a monarchy.
Are they part of the Federation? I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure they are.
But isn't it? Yeah.
Otherwise, who sponsored him? Because if you're not a member of the Federation, you have to have someone who sponsored you.
I didn't get the vibe. He just, it's weird that he's off, doing his thing. But
maybe it's a democratic monarchy and they vote for their king. I don't know. I'm not sure. But
it's like a sex-based monarchy, if I remember correctly. So,
So unified government, I think that's a good starting point. You can't, there can't be any like internal conflict. Like,
they're not gonna. Well, they're not gonna be like the North Continent, because it's always the continent. Yeah. The North Continent has joined the Federation, but the South Continent is not. Like, they're not gonna do that.
Right.
Warp capable. I mean, I know that's first contact, like bare minimum, but like we won't even talk to you. You're not even at the table if you're not warp capable.
Slavery.
I do like it's warp capable. I mean, that doesn't mean you have warp. That's two different things. No one has said that you have to have a working warp engine. It is warp capable which I think is a low bar.
Well, and we see that in Strange New Worlds.
First Contact.
I was going to say when they built that bomb or whatever.
Yeah. They're like, great. So the first thing you made was not a ship to the stars, but a bomb to destroy your enemies. Ugh.
I mean, like, I know we're not. Well, theoretically, theoretically, warp is not possible. But like, we in real life here, antimatter exists, or we've created it or whatever. But like, how much further is that to like? I mean, think of how we are. Like, we could be visited by the Federation. Like, I don't know how long it takes to get from like antimatter to warp capable. End quote. So,
yeah, I'm not sure. It's clearly the Ferengi do have that in check though, so they're good there. I guess. What about something like a little more less concrete? I guess I'd say like you said, Darren. Are they even compatible? Like, would Ferengi's goals or like, I guess Rom kind of likes humans, so I don't know. I just feel like there is like just a sort of the Ferengi wouldn't get anything out of it anyways, and they would have to give up a lot more than they'd get out of it.
Well, I mean, I could see what they might get because like. And this is where the hard part comes that we're struggling with, because they're not going to not be capitalists. But by joining the Federation, even though what would you call a Federation? Is it socialist? Anyway, but like that, theoretically, it would have the advantage would be some capitalistic benefits. Like in other words, like if you're not the Federation, you have to do these regulations. If you are the Federation, you don't have to do these regulations. It's all like this opens up more opportunities, hand quoting, less regulation, hand quoting, that lessens the cost of doing business if you're inside the Federation.
How could it possibly be less regulations, though? The Federation has way more regulations than Ferengi do on their own.
I feel like they have even more for outsiders. It's like, this is our agreed upon standards and measurements, and then like outsider, here's our additional list. Consult the Sheliak Treaty. That's how long.
Well, yeah, for dealing with the Federation. But like, let's just say the Ferengi come across a planet and they want to use that planet. They would just use their resources to do it. They don't have as many hard rules. If there's profit in it, they get to go for it, right? Whereas,
also,
like,
free technology upgrades.
What's that?
Free technology upgrades.
Well, I guess, but they have laser whips, Philip. What could we give them? They have laser whips, man. Anyways, so it's kind of a, by the way, another thing I wanted to talk about was the sort of canon implications that happen in this episode. Like, this is actually kind of a big deal. The Ferengi Alliance, like, joining the Federation would significantly shift the power of the Alpha Quadrant, I would
Looking
think.
at my map here on the wall.
Surely
the map, the Ferengi are next to the Breen, so I'm sure they would appreciate that additional security.
Although I could see some benefits of the Ferengi being in the Federation, because like there's some species like we're still exploring. It's not an unmapped galaxy. Like the Ferengi bring a really interesting take to the Federation. And I think there would definitely be species we could meet. I mean, Rom even showed this. Quark even showed it in the episodes where he would go to the Dominion, where he's like,
Nog.
Yeah, and Nog. But also I was thinking like the episode where Quark was like negotiating with the guy and he like only like, so there's those aspects of Ferengi culture where I'm sure we would encounter other species that they are just, even if they're an example, they're like, yeah, like I could see why the Federation seems like this big wet blanket coming over to tell you what to do. But look at us. Like we thought we'd never join, but we did. And like, these are the benefits we're getting. Like they're kind of a poster child, a really extreme poster child for joining the Federation. Yeah.
I just, in my mind, it just doesn't just.
Well, I could also
and then Nog's on the poster at Astra Latinum. You know, he's got
Astra Latinum. Episode title right there.
Episode title. I don't know what that says in Latin, but you know.
From the Latinum opportunity.
It pretty much.
But it could also just be it's a losing battle. Like in other words, you know, I'm trying to think the Ferengi timeline in my head because they didn't know him in the 22nd century. Thanks, Enterprise. Presumably not in the 23rd. We don't know, but we're presuming not because, according to Next Generation, they didn't even know the Federation in the mid 24th century.
Which episode are you referencing, Philip?
The battle.
Was it the battle?
Yeah, well, that's the one with the Stargazer.
Oh, okay. Darn it! Yeah. I thought it was the other one.
No, it's not the other one. Because Picard on the Stargazer didn't know the Ferengi, and the Ferengi presumably didn't know the Federation. unknown. And so that was sort of first contact-ish, I guess. Not counting, Enterprise. Well, it wasn't the Federation. But they've come a long way, baby. So, maybe the Ferengi are like, we can't operate because the Federation's everywhere. So might as well be inside than having to fight them through the whole galaxy because they're everywhere.
I guess. But then, yeah, I don't know.
The galaxy is smaller. In other words, for the Ferengi, it's like, there used to be lots of opportunity. Everywhere you go now, Federation.
Listen, they made it all the way to the Delta Quadrant, Philip. They made it all the way to the Gamma Quadrant. The Ferengi will find a way. If there is money to be made, they'll find a way to do it. So, and they're not going to...
And they had to deal with root beer every time they went. So
they're not going to make money with the Federation, that's for sure. They're going to make less money. So, I don't know. I just feel like it is out of character. And even with a changing society instituted from the top with Rom, who is obviously not a typical Ferengi, I feel like there would be a lot of resistance and like Darren mentioned, like snapback. Like as soon as you had some sort of a regime change, it would probably swing way hard the other direction. So,
and I'm trying to remember, because it's been a while, how the Grand Nagus works. Because he's like chairman of the board. Like, you have to remind me because you're watching it.
What is it? It's kind of like he's the most, I want to say most Ferengi, because it's like you're supposed to get there by conniving in business deals, and like you can't get to that position unless
he's like the mob. He's the godfather, and they're smaller families.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird. He's never presented as like a political or military leader. He's only presented as a financial leader.
He's chairman of the Federal Reserve, or chairman.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, makes sense if their society's obsessed with capital. That's fine. It's just I also wonder how that society functions. Like somebody has to be doing the stuff, but that's fine. I don't know. I was just interested because I'm like, wait a minute. According to this episode, Ferengi is part of the Federation and all of Picard. I guess that's it's just there now. It's so anything that takes place after this.
Well, we don't know.
A big thing to do.
We don't. Yeah. Well, Dayton, you bring up a good point, and obviously we won't know the answer until they tell us. But without having seen the episode recently, the DS9, where Rom becomes Grand Nagus, I forget why Zek chose him.
I think he's just retiring. I think he wants to just go off and live with, and he's just like, hey.
But why not Quark? I mean, that seemed to be, if I remember the episode, it was like it's going to be Quark.
I thought Quark turned it down at one point.
Is that what it was?
No, I'm pretty sure, if memory serves, because I haven't seen that
twice
yet again.
Right.
He, it's a fake out. You think he's going to pick Quark. Everybody thinks he's going to pick Quark.
Oh,
it's a
that's
surprise
right.
that he picks Rom, and it's because of Moogie that he picks Rom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's the reasoning behind it.
Because I remember I vaguely recall, where Zek fakes his death. Am I remembering that correctly? And Quark becomes Grand Nagus for...
Oh, yeah, for an episode.
Yep. Episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that was early. That's earlier on.
I know.
Much earlier. Yeah.
But yeah, what I'm trying to say is that how does he keep power? Because it's easy to get. Well, I say that, but it's easy to get power. It's hard to stay in power, especially in this society. Because again, if you're not producing profits, if you're not providing opportunities for the underlings, the other families, the other conglomerates, whatever they're called. So how's Rom doing that? And
Yeah, that's a good question. Because there is an episode, just a few episodes before the one I'm watching now, where Zek loses power. And Brunt becomes the interim Nagus. And
Grand Nagus.
That's the one that's the cross-dressing episode. So that's probably and that's why Quark has to do that thing is because he needs to convince some guy, some important Ferengi who has the power to vote the Nagus in power to do that, even though he's advocating for all this social change with the clothes and stuff like that. So,
do we also because again, it's been a hot second too. Because this episode sort of, Lower Decks, sort of says Rom is, I mean, obviously we know Rom is never as dumb as he looks, but Leeta is, between the two, the smarter one. Now, of course, in the series, DS9, I mean, they're both kind of ditzy. I don't remember, now you correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I know Leeta is not like, dumb, but like, I don't remember her, who we saw in this Lower Decks. Like, am I wrong, Daniel? Has she suddenly read a business that got her MBA in between DS9 and Lower Decks?
I just feel like 15, 20 years of first ladying. I don't know what she was.
It's not been that long.
First ladying.
How long between end of DS9 and where we are in Lower Decks?
I don't know. I can never remember when Lower Decks takes place. I guess it's not that long afterwards, right? Because
I guess
Riker's
it's post-Nemesis, right? Post-Voyager.
Yeah. Okay. Well, 10 years, we'll say.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe 10 years.
But I don't know, 10 years of being first lady Ferengi. I wonder how Ferengi feel about that too. What role does that play? How does she play? Or maybe she invented it, which is fine. But yeah. I don't know.
Does Moogie teach her everything she knows?
Maybe, presumably, yeah, I would think so. But I thought it was funny when she's like, "My husband just likes to switch the numbers around to think he's to me." I just thought that was
baseball. Baseball.
I didn't get that part. That kind of was like,
although like she says that, but I also get the feeling though that he, what's it called? Like he's actually smart. Like he kind of plays the fool to get
well
to get what he
has a skill, because I think throughout what you tell me, Daniel, 5 seasons of DS9, he's pretty dumb. But we discover his skill, and everyone has skill sets. His skill set is engineering, and so he's kind of no common sense man. And I suppose that's the stereotype of engineers, right? But anyway, he's a really good engineer. I don't know how that translates to being a really good head of the Ferengi Alliance.
Yeah, well, that's what the episode tries to show us, right? Because we didn't get to see him as Nagus, really, So,
like, it'd been funny if he repaired something. I mean, just as a throwaway joke, he's like, "Oh, you need that repaired? I'll do it."
I kind of like where they went with it because, like you said, he whether intentional or not, he plays dumb, or he comes off as dumb.
Yeah.
And obviously he's much smarter than people give him credit for. So maybe when they do this negotiation stuff and he actually changes numbers, the people don't double check on occasion and he gets, beneficial sort of.
He's still shrewd enough to still be the Nagus.
Yeah.
So
that's the episode shows him more Ferengi than he is portrayed, especially towards the end of Deep Space Nine, where he's like he's like kind of an counterculture Ferengi. Like he's not.
He's radical Ferengi.
He's a union guy.
He's a union man. That's right. Yeah. So I wonder. Imagine that. Like imagine the fallout of that. Like because that was a big deal.
Unions in Ferenginar. Oh my gosh!
And Ferenginar culture.
Well, I can see. This is going to go too deep, so I'm not going to go too far with it. But I can see that. Because the Ferengi that I will argue this, we only see a certain Ferengi because I think it is the Klingon argument. We only see Klingon warriors. We don't see Klingons. And so I think we only see mostly successful Ferengi. So this is going to be a little Marxian, but stay with me for just 2 seconds because we're not seeing the workers, end quote. And so I think if Rom argues union stuff better, and I know going on for a second, but like better wages, better benefits. So suddenly like 95% of Ferengi population is like, yeah, that guy, and the top 5%.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yep. If he could get them on his side, that's a lot of power. I guess that's really comes down to is how does the Nagus keep power?
Yeah. Yeah, he has to be successful in some capacity, otherwise it wouldn't last long at all. So Rom must have had to quickly sort of get a couple of things right, like maybe he found an asteroid full of slug of cola or something, But
wow, I suddenly feel more manly already.
I mean, I would guess like maybe continuing negotiations with like other species or the Dominion remnant over in the Gamma Quadrant. Like he could totally do that.
What if, and we're just taking it as read, that Boimler's TV experience is just Ferengi culture. What if Rom has introduced that? What if he found 20th century Earth programming and introduced the concept
like
of
that didn't
advertising
exist before? The concept of advertising.
Television, because I know they always had signs and stuff, but like
a commercial
television.
In the program. Still so
because
funny.
think of that, they have holosuites. Ferengis, I mean, because TV is obviously 20th, 21st century Earth. I'm not saying other cultures can develop it, but like they have holosuites now, and so like maybe Rom has sort of like
what if we make
concept.
these cheaper holosuites where it's 2-dimension? It's so easy to make. It's so cheap, and people still buy your stuff. They don't need the 3D experience, and that's true. Like, because think about it, it's like technology has advanced so much that you would never think, well, people would never want anything besides holosuites, right? And then he's like, no, look at this relic from the past, and then that'd be hilarious.
The Ferengi actor class. I mean, think about that. There are Ferengi actors making money. We never saw Ferengi actors.
It's true. It's true.
Which means there's Ferengi cameraman, which is Ferengi writer. Like, this is a whole industry he's created.
Well,
that's why he's still in power.
Yeah. If there are is platinum or Latin to be made, then I guess that's true. To your point, Philip, about not seeing like maybe the other people, like the non-successful Ferengi, we are told, although we don't meet him, but that Quark and Rom's father was terrible at business and was a family man. So, I mean, and that Rom is much more like his father.
Person.
Yeah.
Well, because, and again, I'm not trying to go this way, but I'm just saying, in a capitalist system, inherently, there's going to be people who don't make. I mean, there's probably lots of homeless. If it's an extreme capitalist society, not everyone can be making the profit.
You have to pay to go to a door. Like it's Well, and that's where I think that's where Leeta comes in. Where I think in a way, we all know there's many ways to manipulate a capitalist society, and so she's like figured that out, and so she's like, hey, like. Running Ferengi society is actually not that hard because everybody acts exactly as you expect them to act.
Yeah.
So you just do A, B, and C, and the outcome will be DEF.
Because I'm also wondering if they join and again, I know this is going really dark here economically, but if they join the Federation, presumably there's and I mean, these are people, not correct terms, but there's probably a Ferengi underclass that they can, quote unquote, now ship off to Federation planets, like to you know what I'm saying, like because
I don't know.
Go live in the socialist planet; they'll take care of you.
I feel like my gut tells me that there isn't a class like that in Ferengi culture. Instead, there are people who have less money, but it's so imbued in Ferengi culture that everybody has that ability to like earn more and get that next big break and that next big deal. So nobody sees themselves like you may be right. It's just how they classify it. Like nobody sees themselves as like a slave class, but because everybody's one good deal away if we just follow the rules of acquisition.
Everybody. I'm trying to wrap my mind around the idea too. Like everyone on Ferenginar, every Ferengi is willing to do what it takes to get ahead, I guess, right? So that's the idea. So it's like
they all have that drive.
So even if getting 2 strips of Latinum is more than I have now, I will do what it takes to get 2 strips of Latinum. So that's how like all the bottom stuff. No, everybody's looking to get up, of course, but they'll do what it takes. That's like the only way I can justify it in my mind. But of course, how could you not have a set of people that just don't do that? Like there has to be, and I don't know how they would handle them.
Presumably, well, I feel like it's because everything is microtransaction. Like so, So let's say they have someone who has to clean, the room at the hotel. Like you'd think, well, that's like a second class person. Like they're not the owner. They're not, they're not gambling. They're not winning. They have this menial job. But they make money hand over fist. Like so much money in the Ferengi economy moves. It's always the Great River, guys. It's always flowing. So
their employer does. We don't know if they do.
Yeah.
Well, no,
judging
but
by Quark's bar practices.
But my guess would be like they walk in to clean it. they get 2 strips of Latinum. One they keep, one goes to their employer. So their employer gets money every single step of the transaction. That's just a guess. I feel like money moves so fast and so much that even if you don't have a lot of it, just by you're spending money everywhere and you're making money everywhere as long as you have one little niche in this economy.
Yeah,
because and again, we don't know. Presumably, there's no welfare system on Ferenginar.
I would doubt it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you would bribe a doctor to take care of you, I guess. That's what I'm saying. I don't. It's really tough.
Well, I think even
everyone has money.
Safety net.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
Housing for the destitute. I don't think that's happening. You're still paying.
Unless they have some crazy, and this might be possible, they have some crazy charitable tax system that...
That's true. You can build it into a tax.
A welfare system.
Yeah.
I bet there is a system that does exist like that, but it is corrupt as hell. So anybody that's running it is taking all sorts of money and embezzling it and reinvesting it.
Billions of bars of Latinum, but millions come out the other end. But it's still enough to run the system. It's all of 90% of it is absorbed into the wealthy. But
and that's why they run it, because they make money off of poor people.
Yeah.
But that also allows there to be enough of a safety net that, like you said, Philip, nobody's starving on the street or anything like that. So
I would almost picture it as the safety net is just a single bar of Latinum. If you lose everything, you go to the safety net, you push the button, you get ridiculed or whatever, but then you get your first bar back, and that's enough to start over. And that's what they just do. And then they build another empire or another, corporate giant.
Makes me think there's probably indentured servitude on this planet. You work for someone for
there could
slavery,
be
basically, but
there could
it's a contractual slavery.
Well, my example of the the person cleaning the room, they're still making money, but they're also having to pay up to their boss. They don't get to keep enough to not have that job.
Yeah.
But I mean, man, we've gone deep into Ferengi culture.
Well, I think, and again, because Ferengis are oh, this is extreme capitalism. Well, then, if you know, and I'm not an expert, but if you know anything about extreme or capitalism regular, every critique means there's going to be the extreme critique that exists in this culture. So it's well, if this, then thus, So
right. And Deep Space Nine obviously does a lot to sort of broaden is probably too generous of a word to use, but sort of to portray them in a way that it's not all terrible. It's not a hellscape like we would want, that we would think it would be.
Look, people love laser whips. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Quark, pre-selling his freeze-dried, vacuum-packed, sliced remains. That's weird, guys. Yeah. I'm just gonna come out and say it. But
they were wearing fur up to 20 years ago. Things were not going well. So,
and every time we see Ferenginar now, because it's just a muddy, wet planet. I did like that. We don't know the name of the capital city that they went to, but they showed it. And I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was a pretty cool design, because every time that he goes to Ferenginar,
it's always that one shot.
It's always that one
matte
shot.
painting where there's a dome here and a whatever over there, a little temple pyramid, whatever. Yeah.
And it always, and Star Trek does this. It's always the capital city. That's the only thing we ever see. But what is the rest of the planet? Is it habitable? Is it? I forget. Is it land, water? Bunch of the rural population.
If it's all, it's true.
It's
probably
swamp. That's what they say.
I was gonna say, how do you grow crops if it's always raining? You kind of need photosynthesis, but I don't know.
You don't need crops if all you eat is tube grubs.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
A lot of rice.
Just roll over a log, and it is because there's the one episode where Quark says they have 15 different words for rain.
Right.
That whole joke. But anyways, any final thoughts on the Ferengi joining the Federation?
I think we've covered it pretty exhaustively.
Listen, if you want me to close the show, Darren, you have to slide me a strip of platinum. I'm just telling you. All right.
There's Ferengi in Discovery. Am I making that up in my head in the future? I forget.
In the future, there was. Yeah, I remember on the bridge there was one. I think,
That's
or
what I wanna
somewhere. I
say.
remember there being.
But, yeah.
And they
All I
looked
can-
weird.
All I could think of is the false future Riker episode where
Future
there's
Imperfect. Yeah.
there's a Ferengi at the helm that never talks and doesn't do anything.
Yeah. All right. Well, that will be it for this week. Catch us next week when we're going to talk about something, I think, good. We have something on the dock.
We always do.
We always do. All right. That's it. Darren, if people want to get a hold of you, how would they find you?
Then go to drsci-fi.com, DRSCIFI.
And Philip, if they wanted to catch your Ferengi TV show, how would they find you?
They can check out those ads. That is the only way we do it on the old Insta at CAPTSFUFP.
And you can catch me online at OneUpDan. All right. Well, that's it for this week. I'm Daniel Prue.
I'm Philip Gilhus.
And I'm Darren Moser.
Stranded here on SETI Alpha 3.